My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Please go ahead and share my latest article in the Daily Caller, Free Julian Assange. And I am very, very happy to announce that I will be starting, well, I've already announced it, but a new channel. In addition to this one, this will be obviously my main channel, but the new channel will be my appreciation and love for the Second Amendment, safely, law-abiding, YouTube-abiding in terms of policies, and it's going to be fantastic. What do we have here? What do we have here? I have to get to this right away, and I'm going to try to control my penchant for going on never-ending tangents. Mueller told Trump's legal team he will not indict the president, Giuliani tells Fox News. Of course he won't indict the president. This is an opposition research or a political hit job. This isn't about Trump didn't defeat Hillary by working with the Russians, you deplorable Democrats. Trump didn't defeat Hillary by working with the Russians. I said he was going to defeat Hillary in 2015. People said that was clickbait. Of course, that turned out to be 100% accurate. Let's get to Bret Baier and Fox really quickly. This is really, really interesting.
Brett, good evening to you. I spoke with Rudy Giuliani on the telephone in the last hour, and he confirmed to Fox News that about 2 weeks ago, the special counsel Robert Mueller assured the president's outside legal team that he would follow DOJ guidelines that a sitting president cannot be indicted. Giuliani says that Mueller doesn't really have any choice. He has to follow the findings of a 1999 Clinton-era DOJ memo. Now, that's not to say that Mueller still couldn't find some evidence of wrongdoing that Congress could act on, but the president's legal team doesn't appear concerned. Giuliani telling Fox News a short time ago, quote, "This case is essentially over."
Oh, Lord. What happened? Here we go again. Let's listen to this again. I don't know why this messed up.
I spoke with Rudy Giuliani on the telephone in the last hour, and he confirmed to Fox News that about 2 weeks ago, the special counsel Robert Mueller assured the president's outside legal team that he would follow DOJ guidelines that a sitting president cannot be indicted. Giuliani says that Mueller doesn't really have any choice. He has to follow the findings of a 1999 Clinton-era DOJ memo. Now, that's not to say that Mueller still couldn't find some evidence of wrongdoing that Congress could act on, but the president's legal team doesn't appear concerned.
Okay, of course, I, again, ended it before it should have been ended, but this is really important. First, we found out information about Trump Jr., which exonerated Trump Jr. He didn't work with the Russians. This is a profanity alert. If you are a person who is a delusional fool, a profanity alert, please do not listen if you don't want to hear profanity. If you are the type of person who's a delusional fucking fool, who thinks that the tooth fairy is real, and you're 35 years old or 50 years old, and you think that Hillary Clinton was a fantastic candidate, and you think Donald Trump is a menace to society and a menace to the world, but he's presiding over a pretty good economy, North and South Korea at least starting peace talks. Hopefully they continue completely. I believe they will. Exposing corrupt FBI agents. If you think this man is a menace, and you think Obama was just the best president of your lifetime, you have problems. President Obama was not the best president of anyone's lifetime. If anything, he was a caretaker president. Kind of like Clinton. What he did is preside over 2 wars, got us into more wars, got us out of the brink of a depression, but that bailouts were started under Republicans. So, what's a caretaker president? Definition. Let's just go ahead and all right, so basically he went ahead, President Obama, his claim to fame was that he bailed out banks. One good thing he did, and it's good for a lot of people. You might disagree with me, but it is good for a lot of people who are suffering from health issues that wouldn't have been covered prior to the Affordable Care Act. So the Affordable Care Act was good for a lot of people, or at least they benefited. Aside from the Affordable Care Act, Obama has no legacy. What's his legacy? Foreign policy was horrible. He had Clinton with Benghazi, and then he had the Iran deal with Kerry, and he had us getting into Yemen, and he had us staying in Afghanistan and Iraq, even though he said he would pull out. So he wasn't the best president of anyone's lifetime. If you think that he is, well, what is part of his legacy that hasn't been overturned already by Trump? You can't claim you're a great president and then have your achievements overturned in a split second, or attempted to be deleted or overshadowed. But let me just go ahead and I'll read you. Mueller told Trump's legal team he will not indict the president. Giuliani tells Fox, well, of course Mueller can't indict the president. He won't indict the president. Of course. The article is below in the description section. President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, told Fox News on Wednesday that special counsel Robert Mueller has told the president's legal team he will follow Justice Department's guidelines and not seek an indictment against Trump. That's not because Mueller has this mountain of evidence and he's just, being a good guy. Mueller won't indict Trump because there's nothing to indict Trump on. He didn't work with Russia. He didn't need to work with Russia to defeat Hillary. He didn't work with Russia, and it all stems from the DNC hack, which was a leak. And BuzzFeed is suing the DNC to get some information on the alleged hack and some information to corroborate the Steele dossier. Giuliani, himself a former federal prosecutor and mayor of New York, also told Fox News that Mueller's investigators have not responded to 5 information requests from the president's team. That has forced Trump's legal team to push off making a decision about whether the president will sit for an interview. He's not going to sit for an interview. Of course he's not. Mueller's team doesn't really want to sit with the president because they want to go. They know if they sit with the president, the probe has ended, and they're going to have to actually decide on what to do. Are they going to try to take down an elected government, which is basically like this media-driven, intelligence community-driven coup? What are Mueller's options at this moment? He has no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. James Clapper, Dianne Feinstein, Adam Schiff, numerous high-ranking Democrats have all stated there's no evidence. They have no evidence. They have no emails. They have no photos. They have no suspects. They have no anything. They have nothing. They have nothing. Nothing but suspicion. The suspicion they conveniently don't have with Clinton. The precedent that federal prosecutors cannot indict a sitting president is laid out in a 1999 Justice Department memo. Giuliani told Fox News that Mueller has no choice but to follow its guidelines. It's not just that. The case is essentially over. They're just in denial. Look, if Trump actually worked with Russia to hack the DNC, and I've never discussed this angle or this issue, if there was any evidence that Trump worked with Mueller, believe me, it took me a while, but eventually I saw the reality of Bernie Sanders acquiescing to Clinton, kissing her ring, basically pretending the $200 million from his voters wasn't stolen. Eventually I saw that. I would, in a heartbeat, see if there was evidence of Trump actually working with Russia. You're not talking to an ideologue. I'm not an ideologue. You're not listening to an ideologue. I'm somebody who eventually, either sooner or later, realizes that there's too much groupthink in one area, and so, certain issues like Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, there's no groupthink there. That is one of the most pristine, beautiful, pure, you say, like, element movements or whatever, like issues. Here is a person absolutely speaking truth to power and being targeted by the people who don't want their criminal behavior exposed. But everything, political campaigns, they're all, it's just a matter of lesser evil. We've been told that with Clinton, and if you look at lesser evil, you should vote Trump. Are you kidding? You want to vote a Democrat? And people online are like, here's your boy, Trump, look what he said. And one guy points to, I think he said like something like, oh, this is Trump, and he called people animals. And he's referring to criminals, like hardcore criminals who happen to be undocumented immigrants. Anyone would say somebody is an animal if they like shot up a family, or they killed somebody in cold blood or something like that. So he's talking about, I think he was talking about undocumented immigrants, and he was referring to the like worst types of criminals or something like that. Okay, so Trump used that word. Obama said these people are saints. Like, I'm not talking about my friends who are dreamers, who are like, or have like, they're amazing people, and they're like, they should be citizens tomorrow. But they're like, look what he said about corrupt criminals who kill people who happen not to be citizens. He called them animals. I saw the clip really quickly, and I don't know if it's even recent or, it was just on Twitter before I started doing this segment. But people are so into diplomacy. They don't care about whether or not President Obama was referred to as the deporter-in-chief. Obama was referred to as the deporter-in-chief. There's no evidence of anything. The evidence is pointing to a cover-up and a conspiracy. Peter Strzok talked about an insurance policy. Christopher Steele was influenced by Cody Shearer and Sidney Blumenthal. These are Clinton operatives. You have issues. James Clapper said there's no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. It's like, what more do you need? What more do you need to know that there's a zero evidence, and Mueller is not going to indict anyone except people who have nothing to do with the fantasy he's trying to prove exists? Today, on Twitter, this one guy from the liberalist, like hardcore Hillary bot publication, he's like, well, we shouldn't really trust Trump Jr. Trump Jr. met with an attorney, a Russian attorney, who was allowed into this country by Loretta Lynch, given a special visa because of her legal work. Are you kidding? And then, we shouldn't trust Trump Jr. Why? Because you're afraid he got emails from Hillary? Even if that were true, where did the emails emanate? The U.S. government? Did she have a clintonstate.gov? No, the whole world hacked her emails. So the issue would be, how did the world get her emails? How did they get her emails? They got her emails because they hacked them. It's not rocket science. They hacked them. Trump Jr. didn't get the emails, but they did hack Clinton's emails. She had an unencrypted server for close to 5 months. Trump knows what's going on. Trump is infinitely less corrupt. He might be less diplomatic, and he might say things in this kind of like straight-talking New Yorker, and he might offend people. But he's infinitely less corrupt than the Democratic Party. Like I said, I would revoke my vote or support for Trump if anything happened to Julian Assange, because this man, Julian Assange, should be free. What's taking place is a travesty. He should be free. But assuming that nothing bad happens and the U.S. does not arrest Julian Assange, I'm voting for Trump 2020. And he's going to easily win. Easily win. It's not even going to be. He might win by a larger margin. I think he'll win by a larger margin. I think a greater margin. Because one thing about Hillary, even though she was a horrible candidate, people were like, "Can I vote for the chupacabra? Can I vote for the Loch Ness monster? Can I vote for the werewolf? Can I vote for the Loch Ness?" I said that Loch Ness monster. And so here, what are the things I was, Swamp Thing or whatever. What is that? What's Swamp Thing? Okay, hold on. I know that's a monster. Yeah, of course Swamp Thing is a monster. DC. The Swamp Thing is a fictional character, an anti-hero in comic books published by DC Comics. A humanoid planet elemental creature created by writer Len Wein. So, yeah, anybody. They'd vote for anybody, But Mueller's not going to indict Trump. Number one, he hasn't accused Trump of a specific crime. Number two, he doesn't have evidence that Trump committed anything. He doesn't even have evidence that any crime. He doesn't even have evidence that Trump's associates committed crimes. So it's not like this whole thing was a fabricated event. Peter Strzok, in his own words, talked about an insurance policy. We can't take the risk of Trump becoming president. If the day before, or right before Trump fires Mueller, and he will eventually through Rosenstein or whatever he has to do, what he needs to do is simply tweet out Peter Strzok's message. And if that happens, I'll know 100% that somebody's listening in the Trump administration to this channel. I know that it could be said that there's perhaps former officials in the Trump administration who listen to this channel or who enjoy my work. But this is an issue where Trump knows what's going on. He was set up, he was framed. It was all to undermine his presidency, and it's not even about Obama and Clinton and the Democratic Party. They don't care about whether something is true or rooted in reality. They don't care because it's about image. The Democrats are about public relations. They're about, we'll fight for the little guy. What about the Voting Rights Amendment Act? Oh, no, we're not going to talk about that. Well, what about pushing an immigration bill? Oh, no, we're not going to talk about that. What about doing anything? Is there any major policy that Democrats are pushing now? Because Trump wants to build a wall, and there's a whole bunch of other things that he's pushing. What foreign policy objective do Democrats want, aside from regime change? Aside from simply destroying Libya? It is a fact right now that there are slave auctions in Libya. There are vast areas that are just like no man's land, wasteland, and controlled by, Al-Qaeda and terror groups. And how has President Obama, he even stated, that was my biggest mistake. It was his biggest mistake. Libya was his biggest mistake. Okay. Could you imagine the media scrutiny? Could you imagine the media scrutiny if Trump said we have to bomb Libya under the guise of helping its people? And Obama and Clinton just said that, and it didn't work out, and there was hardly any media scrutiny. Hardly any. I wonder why. It's just unbelievable. Just watch this again. So, Giuliani said last week the president's legal team would oppose any subpoena unless they could, quote, reach an agreement on the ground rules. Giuliani has also noted the handover of 1.2 million documents to the Mueller team as evidence of cooperation. Michael Flynn was set up. That's another issue right there. He deserves to be completely cleared. This can't be right. Oh my God. CNN, MSNBC have given Stormy Daniels' lawyer Michael Avenatti $175 million in earned media. Oh, that's 5 days ago. Yeah, oh, $175 million in free media appearances. Gotcha. Okay. At the end of the day, so it's not just Fox. Let's go ahead and CNN. Mueller's team told lawyers they can't indict president. Too bad. Too bad, but you know who they can indict. You know who the DOJ can indict. The same woman who has an ongoing foundation and email probe. That woman could have been the first female president. Oh, Lord. CNN. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Can't indict Trump. Not just because of protocol, because there's nothing to indict him with. He didn't commit any crimes. There are no legal statutes related to fantasies. And he's never been accused of a crime. He's not even the target of a criminal probe. Hillary Clinton was the target, the subject, the person who, the suspect, the person who committed crimes, and will eventually be indicted. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Subscribe to this YouTube channel.